Live on stage, the sound.
Orlando!
So, if they ready, the sound.
Orlando!
What is going on, party people? What is going on? This is your boy Rome, live and direct in the house on a Monday. What's going on with my people in Orlando? Great to be back, man. Great to join the show right now because as we head into the final, 2 weeks of this month, I know we got March Madness going on. I know we got, a lot of good NBA playoffs about to kick off here soon, shortly. Just want to say once again, man, this show is about our story, our city, and our sound. And the people that we bring on may not necessarily be originally from here or live here right now, but they are part of the story. And this is our, whole purpose for this show is to give a place where our legends can speak truth to power about what has made them, such an important, either inspiration or how they impacted our city in a positive way. We want to be that vessel that people can listen to the real stories from them. And so I'm always honored to be on the show with great guests. This is one of those moments. This brother right here, man, he's done so much legendary, shit out in the world. I remember meeting this brother back in the day in Orlando at a club called Deco's. And man, for those that don't know about Deco's, this Beecham Theater has been called so many things, but in a former life, it was called Deco's. And man, I remember the days, man, where he just used to have this place bumping. And as a young DJ coming up, DJing for Lil Cold Cheese and stuff like that, man, and going on tour with Luke, it was my honor to have some of the mentorship that people would give me. And one of those people was DJ Laz. I would literally show up, with my crew and shit. And we roll up in there, man, and he'd be like, yo, Ro, what's up, man? Always showing love, man. It was such a great thing, man. And he'd be like, yo, Ro, get on the turntables, bro. I'm going downstairs. Because back then, the setup was upstairs in the balcony, so you could overlook everything. And man, it was just such a great time for hip-hop music, bass music. This man is one of the kings of bass music. And that South Florida just bounce and that hard 808, hit records, albums, collaborations, radio host, have one of the biggest radio shows in South Florida. I mean, you name it, he's done it, and he continues to evolve, in his career, which is a testament to when you're good, and you could continue to grow and make things happen, not only for your city, but for cities surrounding. I mean, it's brothers like DJ Laz who inspired and who has fathered so many other DJs that came after him. And this is why we're doing this show, to highlight the greatness of our people. Lo gente de nosotros, we have to give their flowers now. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, let me bring on the legendary, the one and only South Florida king himself, my brother from another mother, DJ Laz. Let's go. What's up?
Buddy, I'm going to hire you as my publicist.
I heard that, my brother, for real, man.
In Rome, good to see you, brother.
Man, so good to see you, man. We made it out of this COVID mess, and we're still fighting and battling. But man, such an honor to have you on the show and represent our Florida story. That hip hop, that bass, that DJ. I love when my DJs come on, man, because there's a lot of stories that are not necessarily told outside of the community that people don't realize DJs go through, man, and have to, all the things that we face, we're the bartenders of records, if you will.
Yeah, there you go. Bartenders of records, heartbeat of the club.
Right.
Whatever you want to call it.
Right. We're the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? So before we get into what you're doing currently, let's go back in a little bit of history. Let's go back into time and talk about how you got started DJing and doing your thing back in the day.
I'll make a very long story short.
Right.
I started when I was a jit. I used to go. My brother was a DJ. My brother would play like the house parties and stuff like that. And I remember going. This is the day that I decided, this is what I'm going to do. I was with my brother at a party. I saw him play music, meet girls, and then somebody at the end of the night handed him money. I go, oh shit, that's exactly what I want to do, right there. And look, I mean, that was the defining moment for me that I knew what I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, I wasn't like your average kid. I had 17 surgeries. I wasn't supposed to walk. So a lot of the shit that I went through early on, a lot of kids never went through. You know what I'm saying? When all the other kids were outside playing and doing that shit, I was in the house with pins in my knees. Wow. So I remember I asked my old man, I said, hey, listen, if you buy me a set of turntables, some speakers, and a mixer, I'll never ask you for anything again. Boy, those things have cost me throughout the years, my friend, just so you know.
Wow, man.
But my old man did it. He went and bought me that shit. And my mother would come home and she'd be like, Lazarito, para con el chiqui, come on, and one of the proudest moments of my life was the day that I was able to buy my mom a new car. And for her birthday, she walked outside and it was a gold Altima. I'll never forget it, with a big bow on it. And it was like, yo, Mom, is this for you? My mom turned around, she goes, pa mí, un carro nuevo. And I go, yeah. And she goes, eso con el chiqui. And I go, yeah, con el chiqui. She goes, ay, sigue, keep going.
Man, that is so dope, man.
It's real talk, dude. And man, from there, it has just been what a journey. What a journey, and what it continues to be, because the best is yet to come.
Right. So when you're talking about your beginnings, you begun in South Florida, correct?
Yeah, I've been in Miami pretty much my entire radio career, with the exception of a year and a half that I moved to LA. And love my people in LA, but I love Miami more.
I heard that, brother. I heard that.
It was just one of those things that I was like, damn, I miss home.
What did DJs kind of collect their style over time. Miami had a sound and a style all to itself. Talk about what was it like kind of growing up under the tutelage of that city, and did you know Miami was special in that regard?
Oh, Miami's always been special. There's no place on earth like Miami. It's a melting pot. You know what I'm saying? We get different cultures. We get people from different countries. Everybody congregates here. That's why musically we can be so diverse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for Miami music early on, it was that booty shake shit. All the stuff that I'm seeing now, 30 years later, we've already done it.
Isn't that crazy? Because you hear a lot of the old heads to talk about the music that's going on now, and i.e. what you just described. But shit, it's just booty music. Slow down.
Well, listen, that booty music slow down was what Little John did with all that crunk sound. That's exactly what crunk was.
Right.
The new stuff that's out now, it's what the kids like, man. It's the same thing that when we were growing up, it was the booty records that the kids liked back in the day. And the parents were saying, this is garbage. This is this is that. But that's going to happen all the time. It's not my favorite sound, the new sound, but in order to evolve and to be relevant, you got to keep up with the times.
Right. Well, you can't be the guy talking about, get off my lawn, and expect things to kind of continue to come your way. You got to support the kids you know, in that regard, when we're talking about that bass and that booty shake from our era, talk about some of your influences. 'Cause us DJs, we talk about it all the time coming from here. We were put in a different class. I mean, Philly had their dope ass DJs. LA had their dope DJs. And New York had their dope DJs. But none of them were fucking with the tempos we were fucking with.
No, it's funny because I could definitely touch on this because we used to have everybody come down to Miami, whether it was vacation or whether it was them just coming to hang, whether they were doing a studio session, whatever it was. And they used to hear our shit doing 150 BPMs. And they're like, yo, what the fuck is this? Until they got to the club. And when they saw the girls shaking their ass and losing their minds in the club, they were like, yo, I love this shit. What is it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I remember, you know, not only playing booty records, but when I put out my first single, Mami and Negro, I remember mixing the original from Wilfredo Vargas, a merengue song, with Boot the Booty from Clay D.
Yes.
And it sounded so good that I could not wait to do that mix on the radio.
Right.
I could not wait. I'm like, yo, tonight I'm gonna play this shit. And guess what happened? People lost their minds. They were like, that had never been done. Nobody had ever put a merengue record with a Miami bass record.
Talk your shit, Lance. Let's go.
True.
Yes.
And the funniest shit was that night I did it on the radio. People lost their minds. Then I had a club that night. As a matter of fact, I think the name of the club was Manhattan's. It was in South Miami. And I did the mix live. And people lost their shit. And I said, okay, this has to be not just a mix that I'm doing. This has to become a record. So I teamed up with my brother Danny D. Shout out to Danny D. and DJ Wiz. And the way I hooked up with them, they brought me Boom, I Got Your Girlfriend on a cassette.
Wow.
And I played Boom, I Got Your Girlfriend on Power 96 off a fucking cassette player.
Crazy. Yo, this is history right now. Continue, my brother.
And that record took off. So when I came to him with the idea about Mami and Negro, he was like, yo, yeah, let's fuck with it. You know, brought out the SP1200. We started just, you know, vibing and the chemistry, and the record was born. And when that record came out, it changed shit.
Yes.
It really did. Because it was one of those records that you heard on the radio and you had to turn it up to be like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
And the record took off. Not only domestically, but internationally, the record took off. That was when I started getting shows as DJ Laz, not the mixing DJ, but you know, the artist.
Right.
DJ
and
Laz.
that's crazy because I think what you're alluding to is at that time, especially for that dance music, obviously we did have freestyle music out.
Oh, yes.
But in the regards of hearing Latinos represent on bass music, that kind of gave an example of what it would sound like.
Yes.
And opened the door, if you will, for a lot of people to get their money.
You know what? I love that. I love the fact I've made a lot of records, but you know what? It's hard to say, or it's hard to come across a classic, and I got some fucking classics.
Yeah, bro.
To me, when I can play a record that I did X amount of years ago, and kids today jam to it, Oye Morena. Oye Morena, that record's old. And when I play that record in a club today, I still get screams.
Crazy.
It's insane.
Crazy. Now, when we talk about that Miami and what it's meant to not only Florida but the entire globe, we have legends like Mr. Mix,
sure,
Uncle Al,
yes sir, rest in peace.
Yes, you know, and the list goes on. What was that like being in the bosom, if you will, of these, you know, basically music changing artists, and knowing that, okay, we're on an icon? Because for those that don't know, Power 96 was an iconic radio station
Sure.
in Miami for many, many years. I always, and even when I didn't know about this show being the Sound of Orlando show, I always felt like when I went to Miami, the first thing I needed to do was go to Power 96 to hear the sound of Miami. What was that like working within that construct, and you to yourself, like you were on the radio, you're working with a lot of these talented people. Did you guys know what this was? If that was this sound, did you know how big or how many people you would touch? Or
no, not at all. We just had fun. We just had fun, made music that we liked, and had fun doing it, and played music that we liked. I had no idea it was going to turn into what it's turned into. You know what I'm saying? For somebody like yourself to say, I got a legend on the show tonight, bro, that makes me feel like out of this world. I love the fact that I've been able to sustain a career as long as I have, but I think it has to do with being able to, with evolving with the time, and finding the next, whoever the next thing that's going to come up, and helping. But buddy, we have to help other people. I don't want to do this forever. I still enjoy it though. I still enjoy it. That's the key. I've always told everybody, the day I no longer have fun doing this, I'm out.
Right. But you also said something that's real too, that can only supply what you just last said, which is you have to be of service. You have to help. Because when you're helping, it allows you to see in real time the fun in it, that people are listening or receiving the help. We live in a time right now where, it's so difficult for people to get that concept of not only do you have to help, but people have to be receptive to the help. And that requires there to be some sort of respect and love.
All I can tell you is this: there's an obligation that comes with having a microphone in front of your face. Okay, right. Yeah, you could be Mr. Fun, Mr. Party, Mr. Everything, but you also have to be that voice for the city when shit's fucked up,
right?
When shit's going wrong,
right?
You know what I'm saying? You got to be that guy. One thing that's always been near and dear to my heart is Radio Lollipop at Miami Children's Hospital, which is now Nicholas Children's Hospital. But I went there to go see a friend of mine who his kid broke his arm. I had no idea there was a radio station inside the hospital. I'm walking in the second floor, and I look over to my left, and I see an on-air light. That shit caught my attention.
Right.
I look over, and I go, on air? The hell is that? So boom, I limp over to what I see is a radio station with a full control board and a bunch of volunteers and kids having a great time. And I asked one of the volunteers, hey, come here for a second. It was an older woman. I would say probably 60, 65, something like that. And I asked her, sweetheart, what is Radio Lollipop? And she said, oh, bless your heart. It's a radio station here at the hospital for the kids. It only broadcasts within the four walls, and it's all run by volunteers. And then I hear a volunteer from over there. Oh my God, that's DJ Laz. And then all broke loose. And that was the beginning for me of, this has my name written all over it as far as what my charity is going to be.
Right.
And that was the day, I think like a week later, I met with the manager that runs the station, and we started talking. And I put together for years in a row, multiple years in a row, we did the Radio Lollipop Radiothon, where I would broadcast for 48 hours straight from a Walmart. And have people come and give donations and buy toys, because these are kids in the hospital that without somebody coming to donate them. By the way, there's some that have their family there, but there's other kids that did not.
Right.
So if it wasn't for the radio station, there would have been nobody there to see these kids and hang with these kids. So, dude, I remember I brought Pitt through there. I brought Pretty Ricky through there. I brought every artist that was willing to come with me so they could see it firsthand, and a lot of them were. they were like, Laz, man, whatever you need on our end, man, this is amazing. And since we started, we were able to raise over $2 million.
Wow, man. You hear that, man? And when we, towards the end of the show, man, please send out that information that if anybody wants to join or get involved with that, that is amazing. You know, and who says DJs can't be bigger than themselves?
Of course, right? And you just gotta want to do it. You gotta put in the hard work, and you just gotta go for it. Sort of like when you were talking about this show. Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm reading something on the screen there. Thank you very much. But at the end of the day, when you were talking to me about this show, that you had an idea about putting this show together,
right?
And ideas are amazing here, but execution is key. You could have kept that idea right there and not done shit about it.
Right.
But you did.
Right.
And now you got this show where you can interview people and show people, you know, a different side, because people get a perception and, you know, they hear whether it's on the radio or something they heard from somebody else, and they automatically get a picture of this person in their head, and they really don't know who the real person is.
Right. And the story, your story is, like I said, it is woven through our city. You know, like people don't realize the impact that they have normally until it's kind of like they can't even receive the flowers anymore. You know, how many people have we lost?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh man, they were so important, but we
but nobody did anything about it while they were here. I get it.
Right. And you know, Orlando has been a sister city to Miami in that regard, that, you know, there's so many people that cut their teeth here, that, you know, came through for a few minutes and created memories for people. You know, and you're one of those people, man, who, you know, during an important moment in our history, where at that time, like I said, Decos, Magic Mike was huge here.
Shout out to Magic Mike, by the way.
Yes,
big influence for me. And, you know, him being Orlando and me being Miami, we've done shows together and everything, and he's always been that representative for Orlando. So definite shout out to Magic Mike, and a dope ass DJ.
Yes. We have the likes of Prince Raheem, and Beatmaster Clay D, and the Get Funky crew, and you know, all of these things that were going on during that time. Disco and the City Boys, you know, just so many things that made us kind of
mini Miami.
Right. And you know, to you, you've seen a lot of craziness in the industry. I'm pretty sure artist craziness, producer craziness, record company craziness. Talk about quickly what were some of the things, like, I know what some of the things that, you know, we all celebrate, but what are some of the things that kind of took you aback and made you be like, man, this people got to, you know, kind of navigate through this?
Well, it's real simple. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but when I see people that don't know how to be humble,
right,
or people that don't appreciate shit they got, I think one thing that's happened to all of us with this COVID and with 2020,
right,
it put everything in perspective real fucking quick.
Right.
Everything that we took for granted, being able to go to a goddamn restaurant, or just calling your friends and being like, yo, what's up? What are you doing tonight? Let's go out. And so all that shit went shook and got snatched from us.
Right.
And we were like, oh shit, we really can't go.
Right.
So we can't. Somebody just took this from us. I never thought in my lifetime that I would see this shit. That's
right. It was like God sat us all down. Sit your ass down.
And you know what? You always got to look. I do a podcast with Pitt. It's called From Negative to Positive, right? And
And that's Pitbull, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. Shout out to Pitbull.
All day. You got to look at the positive that came out of this.
Right.
Families became closer.
Right.
You had to make shit happen while you were home. So your creative juices started flowing.
Right.
You're like, okay, I lost my job over here, but now, shit, I'm going to pivot. I've always wanted to do this, but I've always been scared, but now I'm forced into doing it. And it made you do it. Right. And by the way, whether it succeeded or failed, at least you gave it a shot.
Right.
The biggest mistake we all make is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Talk about it, man. It's the truth.
It's the truth. I'd rather try something and fail than not try it at all.
Right, right. And a lot of people, to your point, it's crazy. You just described an entire year of fear that shifted the social and global fear into your point of, okay, well, I could be scared of the entire world, but am I going to be scared of me? Right.
Yeah. Well, one thing is, and I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I can't live in fear like that.
Right.
I can't.
Right.
You got to move forward. You got to hustle. You got to grind, and I should start a company called Figure It Out. Because everybody who's ever worked for me or my kids, when they come to me with a situation, I'll guide them. But I'm going to be like, okay, now go figure it out.
Right.
Because my job as a parent, I have 2 kids. I have a 16 and a 12. My job as a parent is to prepare them for when I'm no longer here.
Right.
Not to hold their hand through every fucking situation that happens, because then what's going to happen when I'm gone? They're going to be fucked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, like you said, 2020, we all realized how much of us are children as a global community. Because, to your point, we were told last year, go figure it out.
Right.
And we're all a recipient of that in some negative forms, the molestation of last year and the blessing of last year.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of things of just real quick. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Of course.
And last year was, it to a T. Continue.
Yep, 100%. Listen, at the end of the day, when you get lemons, you make lemonade.
Right.
You can't sit and cry over spilt milk. You got to move forward. It sucks. Right. You fall down, dust yourself off, and keep going. But one thing that I loved, and this goes to whatever DJs or whoever, this applies to anybody in life, but I remember Orlando. I used to drive to Orlando every Tuesday from Miami to do a club gig. Okay, to do a club gig in Orlando at Deco's. And it became one of the biggest fucking parties in town.
Yep. Talk about it.
Okay? One of the biggest parties in town. I remember when when Shaq played for the Orlando.
Yes. Talk about it.
Let's go. I remember when Shaq would pull up to the club. You know how I knew? Not because he tapped me on the shoulder. His truck was so goddamn loud.
Yes.
The whole bed of the truck was speakers. He had a big dually.
Yep.
And when he would pull up, the inside of the club would shake. And I would get on the mic. I'd get on the mic. I'd be, oh shit, Shaq's here. And then he would come and hang out and party. Another person who would come, Khaled. Before Khaled. Khaled would sit by the DJ booth with his hands on the fucking windows, on the glass of the DJ booth like this.
Yep.
Watching. Shout out to Khaled. He has turned into a superstar, global sensation. But he's worked his ass for it. He's worked his ass off. God bless him.
Man, and you just described, like I said, it's crazy how Orlando has been that kind of meeting spot, the hub, if you will, for a lot of people to connect from the north and the south of Florida, and bring these ideas and these talents to the table. Whereas, for a lot of places, they didn't experience that. You had to kind of just go there to go there. We're the crossroads between the whole shit, and it's just a beautiful thing when you're describing that.
But it's the truth. It was a lot of fun. It was something that united Miami and Orlando together.
Yes.
It was a weekly event. It was a gorgeous club. For those of you that either went or never went, I'm telling you, it was a beautiful, big ass club back in the day.
Right.
And we had one hell of a party every Tuesday night.
Right, man. Shout out to Deco's, now the Beecham. Man, it's had so many names, but it's still alive and kicking.
What's it called now?
The Beecham. It went back to at least the original name. The original name was the Beecham Theater, and then it became all of these other things. Now it's just the Beecham.
I think we just got to throw a throwback party at the Beecham just for the hell of it.
I heard that, brother. Right. You damn right, man. I know they'd be down with it, man. Dude, you work with some of our people. Shout out to Jill Strada, another legend from here. I had the pleasure of growing up with her, and we as kids, we always used to talk about hip hop and what it meant to us. And she goes down there and gets to work with all of you guys in different ways, and continues to grow in her radio career. What do you see as the future of Miami? Where's Miami going from a music standpoint in the regards of, we know the population has grown. We know the city has changed. But what do you see? You went from an early beginning of breaking records to now it's almost kind of orchestrated. You can't break the records anymore. You almost have to make them. Well, and then and bring them online.
It's a twofold.
Okay.
And shout out to Jill Strada, like you said. Jill is a huge program director. Such a talk about a boss. Ladies, you should follow Jill Strada so you can see the epitome of female empowerment and being a boss, because she is definitely that woman.
Right.
And it's hard in a male-dominated world.
Right.
To be a woman and run shit. She has taken stations from zero to the top. And she's earned her stripes and earned her respect.
Yes, she has.
As far as breaking records, corporate America, it kind of sucks because they're very by the book.
Right.
You can no longer get excited about a record and throw it on.
Right. And you had the pleasure of growing up in that era where the DJ that was the first one to break a song was considered a god.
Right.
I broke this record.
Right. But you know the difference now? Now we have a couple different platforms. Ready? Look at this show right here.
Right.
Look at this show right here. People could send you music. And if you really felt that this record was the shit, you could play a record on your show. Whether you have 2,000, 200, 50,000, 250,000 people. Right. You can absolutely do that on your platform, your network, your everything. I'm blessed because I have Sirius XM as well with PIT, Channel 13 Globalization, where I have the freedom there that I don't have in corporate America radio.
Right. Do you see radio kind of ever like morphing into that satellite freedom, like expanding stations?
Here's what I do see. I work for iHeartMedia now.
Yeah.
And amazing company, huge company.
Right.
But it's a corporate company. Okay.
Right.
But what they do give you is the opportunity. If you want to create your own podcast, you want to create a show, put 10 shows together.
Right.
Put 10 shows together. Make it good. Make it, or you can break records on that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can break records through your IG page.
Right.
You could do all that. But as far as terrestrial radio itself, I don't see it going anywhere for a very long time. There's still a lot of people that turn the radio on every single day in their car, or now through their smart device, or they say, Alexa, I'm on Totally 93.9 now. I play 90s music in the afternoon, which, by the way, I absolutely love because I don't have to wake up in the morning anymore to do a morning show. I did that for too many damn years.
I heard that, brother. I heard that.
But you get to, have fun and play. You got to do things that make you happy. Everything else, understand, money will come if you do what you love. Don't chase the money because that's all you're going to do is chase.
Right.
You'll never catch up.
And it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, is it? So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, being that, you're our man in Miami. How did COVID impact you guys down there? And you're still kind of dealing with it. They just put a damn curfew on the entire city. How's this? What do you feel about this whole situation?
First of all, let's clarify. They didn't put a curfew on the entire city. They put a curfew on Miami Beach, on South Beach.
South Beach, okay.
Which is about where the curfew is, probably about 10 blocks, 12 blocks. But here's what I have to say to people who are coming to visit Miami. Don't act like a fucking idiot when you come here. You know what I'm saying? If you want to have fun, it's a great place to have fun. But as soon as you start doing stupid shit, you're going to fuck it up for everybody else. And that's exactly what's going on.
And that's unfortunate, man, because,
very unfortunate.
Because now they're saying, there's going to be more cases, blah, blah, blah. And, for those that, got the vaccine, we got the vaccine, that's fine. But it just makes it kind of, worse when you're, if you're a blue collar guy down there, if you're just going to work, you're trying to make a living, and so a lot of these things out there make it kind of difficult to deal with an already difficult situation.
I will tell you this: without getting into politics or too much detail, just do your homework on COVID. Do your homework on it. You'll see that there's a bigger picture behind this entire thing. But is it real? Yeah, it's real. And a lot of people have lost people that they love, and it's unfortunate. It's awful. But they've made the numbers way bigger than what they are realistically.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say. But I will tell you this: as far as Miami, shit. One thing that's happened here is I've seen the rest of the world shut down. Down. Miami got that. The rest, Miami didn't do what the rest of the world did. Miami's been out doing their thing.
Right.
With social distancing as much as you can.
Right.
Masks. Yeah, I guess.
Right.
But at the end of the day, one thing that's been huge for Miami outside of COVID, get rid of COVID. Ready?
Right.
One thing that's been huge for Miami, the weather. And Orlando, you get this too.
Right.
We have more people moving to Florida because every time you look at a damn map, especially during January and February, when everything else is purple and light blue and, negative this, negative that, look at Texas.
Right.
Texas had below zero temperatures.
Crazy, man.
And you look at a map and you see Florida, especially South Florida, 85.
85 degrees, bro.
People say, yo, fuck this. I'm selling everything. I'm moving to Miami.
Right. Well, last question, because I know we're on a timeline here, and I just want to get your take on it. I remember, to your point, we were talking about Decos going to Miami around that time and seeing the city for what it was then.
Yeah.
And how it does not look like that anymore. It looks like they dropped half of Atlanta into Miami now. It's starting to look like more and more like a Manhattan now. They're building across 95. Never thought I would see that, building over towns.
Have you been to Wynwood?
I just seen some pictures the other day of Wynwood. Speaking of Wynwood.
I want you to know that Miami people who live in Miami and who are from Miami don't go to the beach. They don't go to South Beach.
Right.
The spot for everybody now is Wynwood, a neighborhood that just 10 years ago you wouldn't drive through.
Right.
Okay. We have transformed. And by the way, they must have had vision looking at that, because if somebody would have told me 15 years ago, hey, Laz, give me $100,000, I'm going to turn that into 15 million.
Right.
I'd have been like, bitch, you're out of your mind. I'm not giving you no money.
Right.
And somebody believed in it enough. And now buildings in Wynwood, 60, 80 million.
Right.
Crazy.
It's crazy. I was coming up from Kendall, and actually I was really coming up from the Keys.
Yes. Wait, I got to show you this. Hold up.
Yeah.
Because, in this business, we got to diversify. So let me see if you can get the good angle. See, Los Cayos. That's in Spanish. That's the Keys.
The Keys. Let's go.
Los Cayos.
Yes. I'm driving up where 95 begins. Now, people, if you don't know where 95 begins, it begins at the bottom. And just driving through that, it never used to look like that. No, and it looks crazy. Like, it just
every place, look. If you look at South Beach, go look at the movie Scarface.
Right.
Go look at the scene where Tony Montana's on South Beach going to do a drug deal. That's what South Beach used to look like. All old people.
Right.
Old ass buildings and all senior citizens on the beach. It has to evolve. It has to turn into something else. And, Miami is constantly evolving and changing.
Right.
We just got to get people that want to come down here, have a good time, not act a fucking donkey. You got what I'm saying? Come here, party. This is a beautiful spot. And we got people that are not from here fucking up our city. So we got to figure out a problem.
Well, like I said, we need to do this again, man. You're always welcome back on the show. Like I said, you're one of our heroes up here, man. We love what you do. Continue to do what you're doing out there, man, and reimagining what this thing of ours is. Continue to evolve. We support you. We're rooting for you, man.
I appreciate it. And Rome, it's real simple. Okay, we only have one life. We got to make the best of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Don't cry over spilt milk. Move forward. When shit fucks up, dust yourself off. Keep going. You're talking to a guy right now who's been on the radio 30 years.
30 years. Let's go, people.
30 years. Okay. You're talking to a guy who was never supposed to walk in his life. Okay. That's what they told my mom in the hospital. He will never walk. He will lay flat in a bed his entire life. Just to give you perspective, the bottom of my feet, bottom. So imagine this is the bottom of my foot.
Right.
Touching my chest when I was born.
Crazy, man.
Okay.
Crazy.
4 years in a body cast from the waist down. Wow. So, well, I hate when people say, I can't. Yes, you can.
Right.
You got
and I love what you say in there, because, well, that's not always motivation neither. Most people need to do it. And when we have the choice to either want to do it or not, sometimes that's the bigger Achilles heel than anything else. Sometimes we're called to do things that we don't want to do. And that's what makes us heroes. When we realize that things are bigger than ourselves, like you just described. The world told you this ain't gonna happen, and you made it bigger than yourself to do it.
I will tell you this: the world told, because I was, when I was born, clearly, when they told my mom that he will never walk, my mother looked at the doctor. My mother looked at the doctor and said, "Let me tell you something. Do me a favor. Don't ever repeat what you just said to anybody. Especially don't tell my husband." My mom talking about her husband, my dad.
Right.
He does not have the faith that I have. And my mother was in a hospital room by herself. Everybody had walked out. And she said that Jesus appeared in front of her. Have faith in me. Your son will walk. Don't believe what doctors are saying. and disappeared. So, buddy, if that doesn't give you goosebumps, if that doesn't make the hair on your neck stand up.
Right.
I'm not.
You needed to walk, and you did. You needed to live this life that you're living, and you did.
And by the way, most people, and again, my mother's 86th birthday was yesterday, just so you know.
Congratulations. 86. Happy birthday.
Now, the crazy part with mom she suffers from an awful disease called Alzheimer's, and she has dementia. And my mother, basically, when I was a jit, if I put on pants, my mother would say, no pants, put on shorts. Don't be ashamed of your legs. And that's the problem with kids today, because of this thing that we call the internet and social media. They get bombarded. If I had a problem with somebody at school, it was meet me by the bike rack. And you boom, 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 and it was over. Right. Now you have a problem with somebody. Now it becomes a fucking internet viral bullshit.
Right.
And these kids don't know how to handle it. We have to teach our kids to have thick skin.
Right.
Okay? Guess what? Not everybody's going to like you. That's okay.
Right. Well, you just touched on something that's actually going on right now. What was the girl that just got fired for a tweet that she did when she was 17 years old? And they're talking about this cancel culture, to your point. Do you think people, and I know the subtext of it, it's the lack of forgiving. People are so logical now. Like, you do this, that's it. This happens, this happens, this. Are we in the society of less forgiving? No one's forgiving anyone. You fuck up once, that's it.
Listen, guys, I will tell you this, okay? I will tell you this. I'm not part of that cancel culture, because we're all humans and all of us make mistakes. That's number one. Okay. But number two, I'm talking to the kids. Have thick skin.
Right.
If I would not have had thick skin growing up, I would not be where I'm at.
Right.
Today. I wasn't supposed to walk. I'm the original motherfucking Forrest Gump. I called myself the pimp with the limp. And it became such a huge nickname that some people didn't even call me Laz. They were like, what's up? To this day. What up, pimp with the limp?
Crazy.
And it's the truth. You have to believe in yourself and fuck what an internet gangster says hiding behind a screen.
Yes.
This is what I tell people, and I'll end this with this. You think I give a fuck about what somebody says, which I call internet gangsters, hiding behind a screen? Bitch, I wasn't supposed to walk. I already won.
Yep.
I already won.
Man.
What you could say is going to change any of that. So I hope for whoever's watching this, believe in yourself. Stop fucking worrying about what people are saying, and you keep going. You do you.
Man, he's dropping bombs on the city, man. You heard it right from the horse's mouth, man. You already know the legend and the continuing evolution of what the king of bass music in Miami, Mr. 305 himself.
Wow.
The legendary, the one and only.
Which I appreciate
DJ Laz, brother.
Thank you so much, my brother. Shout out to the nephew, Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305 Pitbull.
Yes.
And look out for some new shit coming. One thing that COVID has done is given us a lot of time to be in the studio creating shit. So it's gonna be a fun 2021. Okay,
man. We can't wait, man. We can't wait, bro. And like I said, you're always welcome on the show. And if you got some new music you want to promote, man, please bring it to the show, bro. We'll definitely talk about it. All right.
I appreciate you. Follow me at DJ Laz. Make sure you check me out on my iHeart station here in Miami. If you love 90s music, it's called Totally 93.9. And you can check me out on what I call my musical therapy, which is my Sirius XM show, Globalization, Channel 13, Pitbull Radio. And there I just get to have an amazing musical time, because if I'm in the mood to do a Miami booty set, I do a Miami Booty set. If I'm in the mood to do a hip hop set, I do a fucking hip hop set. If I'm in the mood to do a 90s retro Madonna, 80s mixed in there, I do that. It's just fun. Reggae from my Caribbean massive. It's just music makes the world go round, and it can change somebody's day and mood. So never forget.
And real quickly, how can people get involved in that charity that you were describing?
DM me at DJ Laz, and I'll send you a link to Radio Lollipop. It's an amazing thing. When you see what these volunteers do for these kids, the least we can do is show up and support their efforts. You want to donate toys? Donate toys. You want to donate money? Donate money. You want to go there? By the way, I encourage you, if you're ever in Miami, go and see it. Even though with COVID, things are a little different right now. But physically seeing it will change your life.
Man, give it up for the legend, DJ Laz, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Hey,
I'll talk to you, Rome.
You already know, brother. Be easy, brother. Hey, bro, you know how we're doing it, man. This is the Soul Show, man. We're talking to our people. It's a beautiful thing when we can carry conversations about our history, because if we don't know our history, we're doomed to repeat it. Shout out to Laz for just dropping some jewels on us, man. We needed to hear that tonight. You better believe that. Shout out to everyone that tuned in tonight, man. We will be back tomorrow. As you know, this is the Sound of Orlando show. I am your brother, Rome. And, this is what we do, man. Holla at your boy. Let's go.
Live on stage. The sound
of Orlando.
So, is they ready?
Yes.
The sound
of Orlando.